Welcome to Malbiolect. My name is Ankit Kumar Nath, and today this is the second video where I will be showing you that what the channel which I am referring to every time, Shomu's Biology, is doing wrong because he is creating misinformation. So today I will be taking help from maths, physics, and also chemistry and biology to prove that he is wrong. And not only he is wrong, actually there are many channels from which he referred these kind of things, and they all are actually combinedly they are all wrong. So he made a DIY box. So yesterday when I made the video, I just ignored the fact that he was using a UVC lamp, and I also checked on Amazon the product which he was using. It was a UVC lamp, so I mentioned that he is not using UVC lamp. So that's actually wrong, but kind of actually I'm right. So how is it? Before that, I would just like to go into the formula by how you can calculate the amount of light you need and what else do you want to take into consideration for this kind of experiments. So first of all, how UV works. So UV can actually cause cross-linkings, okay, cross-linkings between the bases. It is the base of the inactivation of SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV-1 virus, and these cross-linkings are also called something known as the pyrimidine dimerization. So these cross-linkings actually cause or actually are pyrimidine dimerizations, and these pyrimidine dimerizations causes different breaks in the DNA, or these breaks are actually encountered by different enzymes, and thus the replication of the virus is hampered, and this is how it essentially works. So this is the basic concept you need to know first. Now, since these mutations are actually these mutations actually have a high probability to be caused at points where there are adjacent pyrimidine residues, so we can find something known as the dimerization probability, which I refer as DP. So dimerization probability is basically a equation which I am referring to is known as the Kalsowski equation. Okay, this Kalsowski equations is basically used for calculating this kind of dimerization. So what is Kalsowski equation? Let's get into that. Basically, there are different kinds of dimer which may form. For example, there can be TT, thymine dimerizations, or there can be even CT dimerizations. There can be even CC dimerizations, and also there are other dimerizations which include something known as ATT or GTC. So these are basically pyrimidine doublet which are adjacent to A or G. So these are the pyrimidine doublets which are adjacent to something known as A or G. So these kind of dimerizations also take place in the DNA. So Kalsowski has found out an equation by which you can calculate this dimerization probability, which is equal to the root over of summation of all the TT dimers plus alpha, I will explain everything, alpha into summation of all the CT dimerizations, and we have beta into summation of all CC dimerizations plus gamma into summation of YYU. Basically this YYU is that pyrimidine adjacent to A or G dimerization, and this whole cube root divided by cube root of n square BP. So n square BP is basically number of base pair. Okay, so now this is what I have actually found out in the web. So this is the Kalsowski equation. Okay, now in case of this alpha, this beta and this gamma, so this alpha, beta and gamma are also known as the dimer proportionality constants, and these dimer proportionality constants can be calculated using a data. Okay, and that data is also known as the linear fit analysis, and I have actually compared the linear fit analysis of not only one SARS-CoV but 28 single stranded RNA viruses. Okay, which also has different kinds of these coronaviruses. Okay, coronavirus is not only the SARS-CoV-1 and SARS-CoV-2, there are other different forms of coronaviruses. So that I have calculated, and then we have got to this. So you have to remember the equation that I have shown over there. Okay. Now on databases on that is found on nih.gov.in, we have found that SARS-CoV genome. Okay. Particularly I am referring to NC004718 and NC045512. This one is for SARS-CoV and this one is for SARS-CoV-2. And when we compare these two databases, we can actually find out that how many TT dimers can form. And these are actually calculated not using not manually, but using computer database. And we have found that the TT dimerization in case of the SARS-CoV-1 and SARS-CoV-2 are 2207 and 2454 respectively. This was SARS-CoV-2 and this was SARS-CoV-1. Similarly, for the CC, we have found 850 and over here 784. For CT, it is around 3744 and 3494. In case of YYU or the pyrimidine adjacent to A or G, it is 7732 and 7736. So now the base pair, the NBP. Okay, the NBP factor for SARS-CoV-1 is 29751, but in case of SARS-CoV-2 it's 29903. Almost 30,000 base pairs. So if we put all these values in the equation now, in this equation what we get is that the DP, dimerization probability for the SARS-CoV-1 is coming as 0.2458, and that is for CoV-1, and for CoV-2 it comes around 2422. These calculations may vary but not significantly, because calculations in these kind of things, they vary usually. So these things which we can find. Now after this DP and DV which we have calculated, now we will go for the UV dosage. So UV dosage, as you know, is measured in joule per meter square, because UV is energy, so that's why joule per meter square. So energy that we can actually putting in per meter square area. So but before that we have to acknowledge one fact, and that is as you are illuminating something with UV, it basically the viral particles that are there, they are inactivated, and they are inactivated exponentially. There is an exponential decay of the viral particles, you can call it like that. So from there we can say that the surviving fraction of the virus, so this S is equal to, I will call as surviving fraction, and this surviving fraction is equal to e to the power of minus KIT. Okay, so this is, I will point out as equation number 2. So e to the power of minus KIT, where K is basically the UV susceptibility, I is basically intensity, I am talking about UVC intensity to be specific, and T over here is time, nothing else. So this you have to know. Next, now to measure UVC dosage, also I have found online that there are many people asking for calculation of UV dosage. So from equation 2 we have found that S is equal to e to the power of minus KIT, right? And for UV dosage, UVC dosage, or DUVC you can say, dosage for UVC is calculated as minus of ln S by K. Okay, so this we can point out as equation number 3 and this as equation number 2. Okay, now if we combine equation number 2 and equation number 3, we can find that D is equal to IT. It's coming like that, D is equal to IT. Okay, so this I will write as equation number 4. Now after this we will get this measurement of D is equal to IT. It's not possible to measure all the wavelengths, but practically and theoretically, as I am referring to this paper, the person who did this was named Darnell in 2004. He measured that in case of the viruses, the amount of the dosage you need is around 36144 joule per meter square. This is the amount of resources you need for killing those. So after this, we will find out that this much energy is required, and this much energy is actually causing the virus to be present in undetectable levels. Okay, so after this much energy radiation, the virus is nearly not present, okay, or is basically undetectable in the nature. So conclusively we can say that experimentally using these formulas, Darnell has said that 36144 joule per meter square of energy in the UVC range is very much important for the inactivation of bacteria, viruses, even molds. Okay. Now the next thing that comes is the time. Okay. So in case of Shomu's biology, he said the time required is only 10 minutes. And he was using a 8 watt bulb, 8 watt UVC bulb. But there are different flaws in this. So let's first discuss those flaws. So the first thing that happens is that when you are using the UV bulb, suppose this is an UV bulb, okay, it's a clear glass UV bulb. So this UV bulb actually emits UVC radiation because he was using a UVC bulb. Now in the surrounding there were oxygen present. Now this UVC, when eliminated from the bulb, when it attacks this oxygen, it forms something known as the ozone, and this ozone is very much harmful for our lungs. Okay. Next thing which you did wrong, 8 watt of UVC lamp is not good for irradiation of the air, okay, for purifying the air. Why so? Basically in case of 8 watt lamp, he bought, it wasn't from an RO purifier one. So with the package he received, the UV lamp, he also receives a round object like this, which he said is useless in this case because he is not purifying water, and he is right. But the mistake he made is that 8 watt bulb was actually meant to be fit inside this hole, and here there would be some kind of filter such that when the water enters from here, it will get filtered and it will have a close association with a UVC lamp over here, and the water coming out from here will be relatively pure. Okay, but this 8 watt UV lamp is enclosed in this kind of packaging because 8 watt is not that much powerful for irradiating air. Okay, the minimum you can use for irradiation in air according to the studies is somewhere around 15 watt or even more. Okay, so there he made this thing wrong. The other thing he made wrong is a distance. If I am not recalling it properly, I think, but the tube he used were 2 UVC lamp tubes, each of 8 watt, so that gives you 16 watt in total, and this 16 watt he was using, and the whole box diameter, I don't know because he didn't mention, but from what I observed in his video, it was much greater. For example, if the tube was over here, placed here, the 2 tubes, the surface to be sterilized is present over here. So in order to UV light to pass through this huge air gap, it will first of all create lot of ozone. Okay, so it creates lots of ozone that is actually harmful for you. And next, because he used a plastic case, or suppose wooden case, I don't know, but if he used a plastic case or a wooden case, this UV light which is released from the tube will be absorbed in them. Okay, will be absorbed in them, and the effective energy reaching over here where the materials are kept for sterilizing is not again adequate. Hence there will be almost no sterilization. So why are we wasting time? Let's find out how much time it takes to actually sterilize things. So as because I have already told that we need minimum of 15 watt lamp, so I will be considering the 15 watt only. Now before going to time, we also need to think about the intensity for UVC. For the intensity of UVC, we have to take the power rating of UVC. In the case of Shomu's biology, it was 8 watt, but actually we need 15 watt. So power intensity of UVC divided by A exposed, or the area exposed. Okay, so that gives you eta into P by 4 pi r square. Now what is eta? This eta over here, I like to call it inactivation factor for UVC, but in textbook you will find it is written as attenuation factor. So this attenuation factor is nothing but those things I have explained, that it creates ozone, it is getting absorbed on the surfaces, it is not it is having a longer distance to reach. Okay, the UV lamp is over here and the surface to sterilized over here, so it's a long gap and you will not pass effectively UVC. So these are the things which we are considering in this eta. So also in case of UVC lamp, you must know this, although it is written that it's an 8-watt lamp, but the output will always be low, and hence the eta is somewhere for any kind of UV lamp is around 10%. Okay, unless and until you are using a lamp which is basically around 60 watt or even more. For those kind of lamps, the eta is much more than 10%, because in those cases the energy is more, the power is more actually, and hence this factor, the power is over here. So eta into P, eta is small but power is very much huge, then intensity will be very much huge. Simple calculation, right? So after that we have the 4 pi r square. This I have just for the sake of convenience of calculation I have taken that the surface we are going to sterilize is a circular or the spherical surface, okay, or a circular surface basically. So in that case, if I just simplify everything, then the formula, now also there is something else you need to know. So the basically the material, the voltage fluctuations that we need to consider in this kind of cases, the improper terminal heating, because you know in case of UVC lamp, the lamp looks like this. There is a tube and there is the two terminals, and this terminal heating can actually reduce the intensity and the life of the lamp. Okay, so taking in consideration all of these things, eta is equal to 10%. Now for calculation, the time we will find by using all this equation 1 2 3 4 and this one as 5, will get T, which is basically tends to 1.5 into 10 to the power 6 into pi r square, the area, by the power rating of the UVC. Okay, so in this case if we take the power rating as 15 watt and we take a estimate area where UVC lamp is over here, fitted over here, I have to rub some parts, or yes. So if the UVC lamp is fitted over here, for suppose for example, and in this case the distance of the material to be sterilized from the lamp is around 6 inches. Yes, I am taking this as 6 inches, not more than that. 6 inches. We will get that it needs the time actually in this case is somewhere around 2 hours. So at 6 inches distance, 15 watts of power, you need around 2 hours for the sanitization. Okay, now the story does not end over here. Okay, I am debunking things, so it is basically I am debunking everything he made wrong. Now in case he was using money, okay, the money he was using basically piece of paper, and as you know microscopically you will find that this piece of paper has got many nooks and crannies, okay, and that will actually add to the pi r square or the surface area. The second thing he did wrong was that he used a box, that's good, but he did not use any reflective cover like tin, aluminum foil, okay, or tin foil, because suppose I have installed a UV lamp over here and over here. If these surfaces are reflective, then what happens is that these surfaces reflect the UV lamp in almost every direction like this. Thus it will actually give you a uniform disinfection, or I will just say the term sanitization. Okay, this was the flaw in his video, and he said himself in comments and also in his videos that you need only 10 minutes of exposure to 8-watt lamp, which is actually used in RO purifiers. Now here comes an interesting thing. The thing is, if you are using a 8-watt lamp and your distance is huge, because you are making so much ozone as it is striking with oxygen, there are surfaces which are actually absorbing the UV. The point where it hits over here, the UV has got no such power. It has got less power actually, and that power is not good to sanitize anything. Okay, so now you will say that then what should we do? So he said that you can use the Amazon gift packing box, where we will just insert the tube, and yeah, it can work, but usually the time of exposure should be high. Okay, and also 8-watt lamp is not good. You need around 60-watt lamp, 30-watt lamp, minimum 15-watt lamp. And as you know, as we have just seen in the formula, that in case of time, okay, the time basically decreases as the power rating increases. Okay, also in case of this intensity, because the power rating is increasing, the intensity also increases. Like I have said in the formula, I is equal to eta into P by 4 pi r square, right? So as the power rating increases, the intensity increases and the time decreases. Okay, so for this kind of videos which you find online, just make sure that you are following the correct information and you are searching everything over Google. Okay, and also, so what should he do to rectify it? So to rectify it, he can do one thing. He can make a circular hole like this using a tin foil or something like that, which should be reflective inside. Okay, it should have a reflective inside, or made of steel, so no coloration. Okay, the surface should be reflective inside of this. Inside surface should be reflective, and he should install a UV light over here. Okay, and all the money which he have, he just put it in the here over here, like a coke can. Okay, just put your money in the coke can and you start the UV lamp over here, and you keep this. If you are using a 8-watt lamp, I don't know, it will take much longer time, but I just recommend that you should use 15-watt lamp or 60-watt lamp, as it requires less time. The time for that will be around 45 minutes. So if you keep all your money over this in this can for 45 minutes, it will actually sterilize and it will actually help you, and it will not create any kind of misinformation too. So if you like this video, then please subscribe. As you know that I am literally pissed making this kind of videos. I do not want to make this kind of videos anymore, but if I find things like this, I cannot help myself, because spreading misinformation at times like this is very much bad, because it's a pandemic and many people follow you. So you have got a huge responsibility to deliver the proper information, and if you are not doing that, well, I am sitting over here. But please make sure that I am not I don't have to rectify all your videos. Okay, so just one last thing I will ask: subscribe me, because it gives me motivation, and I will continue with all the other videos and requests that people have sent me over time. And also, because of the Amphan, there is a issue in our network, so I think I will be able to cope that. Thank you for your support. Moy Elect is out. Bye.